This exhibition is called Intimate Tales in Art, Love, Family, Story.
And we've got 5 artists.
That's right, 5 artists exhibiting here at Harts Lane, which is a wonderful old stables at New Cross Gate. And the artists are myself, Jude Karen Montague, Tisna Westerhoff, there's Eze Chimalio, there's Chris Simpson and Rochelle Allen-Sherwood.
And everyone's got something different to give for this exhibition?
Yes, it's very personal things that people are bringing in because of the nature of the title of the show. So each of us has a very personal take on their work that they're showing here, and it does have that intimacy, that really personal touch to it that some art exhibitions don't have. We've been able to really tap into our own stories for this show.
So I've been working on this project called Undercover. It's a series of paintings that I've been doing for about 5 years now. I've finally come to the end of the project, and the process of going through these bodies under the cover is about loss, about finding something that wasn't there, revealing by hiding. And I became really interested in the veil through a trip to Italy, where I found out about the Risorgimento movement, which was a movement that helped unify and bring together Italy in the 19th century. And there was an art movement that used these images of a veiled figure as a kind of emblem of the movement for unification.
So what was it that inspired you about that movement?
I think it was the idea of an object that is underneath a veil and what it could mean for the viewer to be able to sort of not know what was there, but maybe left it up to their own imagination to sort of decide what it was. I became really interested. I started with white actually as a colour, and by using monochrome for a whole year, I kind of really got into the idea of colour in itself as a sign or a signifier for people's emotions, and it was quite surprising what people came up with when they looked at a specific colour.
Because this colour is quite amazing here, that you've got beside you.
Yeah, so orange. It's I kind of work with a particular material, and I try it out, and I put it into the landscape, and I use it as an intervention tool in public works of art, and then it inspires me in my paintings to create more figurative work, and it really opens up sort of ideas of slowing down every day and trying to work out a way of kind of creating an abstract image but with figuration at the same time. I've been doing it for a long time, so now I'm moving away from figure, but these are the last kind of paintings that I would have done in oil.
Can you tell us anything about the monochrome one that's here? This is another amazing piece.
Yeah, this is both of these were done this year, and these are the final paintings. So I work in threes in a triptych for some reason. I've always found something quite interesting about the number 3. And the other 2 paintings, which are too big to bring, are very enormous, and it's actually really putting the figure back in. And they were the last 2 paintings, and the whole emotions and feelings that I've gone through painting these has brought me back to a reality of understanding why I was doing them. And the subconscious came out in the end, and I realised it really was about the loss of a mother. When I was 3 years old, she walked out on me and my 2 sisters, and left me with my father, and so I kind of, that loss of a maternal input in my life, and never having it, and there is a sad element in it, but at the same time, psychologically, it's really helped me move on, especially as I've just turned 40. And the last 2 images make me really think about, that's it, you know, I've looked back on 40 years and realised that I've actually had so many mothers and so many maternal people in my life. I kind of stole everybody else's mothers. It's been nice. So coming to terms with that loss and not knowing my own mother, I suppose it put me on a very bad path at the beginning. I was a bit wayward and a bit naughty, but the more I got into painting, the more I realised that it was a way of getting through that kind of distress that was caused me as a young baby.
I'm displaying a bit of bunting. It's a big ABC that I have embroidered onto handkerchiefs, and so it's 26, and I chose a word. A is for acid, B is for Brexit, C is for crime, and so on and so on. And I really like playing with art and craft and innocence and loss of innocence and male and female, and I think it's a sort of Trojan horse where I really like to make something beautiful and that looks pleasant to the eye, colourful, and so you think, oh, that's really sweet, and then you go, and then I've sort of got you, and then you come in closer, and there's actually quite a serious message. So on these I used love hearts because I kind of sometimes struggle to completely love everything about this world,
So we've got I for immigrants there, yes. H for hombre.
H is for hombres, yeah, and so this is the wall here. I did a bit of painting, but this is all stitched and embroidered. And these top bits is actually from the kite mark. What you can see on is from the British standards. And because I'm Dutch, I always think, will I ever be a British lady? So anyway, it was also a bit playing with Brexit and British standards, and I thought it was a beautiful thing to kind of work in a triangle and then make it into a love heart. And so you could see it as bunting, which is sort of, and the ABC is very much a thing that you, for children really, to learn about life in a playful way and learn words. But then to do something that is so the opposite. It's so so somehow I like to create something that's really innocent. I either portray children on it, but because I feel that children really represent the sort of innocence that is instilled in all of us. And you see this daily diet of violence and kind of banal imagery, and you kind of get a bit immune to it. And I like to take it out of this sort of hysterical or sort of media newspaper setting, and using as a mother as well, using the sort of the needle as a way to, as a sort of metaphor for repair, just purely for myself really. I feel like I'm sort of mending a bit.
They remind me of Tibetan prayer.
It's also a bit like these sort of prayer.
The sort of Tibetan prayer flags they remind me of.
Yeah, that's right. And so, they are little prayers that the wind then takes them, isn't it, and go into the world. And I'd like to hope that some of that happens too with this. I don't like politics actually. I don't like this harsh trying to convince the other one of, but I from a sort of psychological point of view, and I can't help but just make something about it, and make sense of the world as well, I guess. And I think if you see it in a different setting, I hope to open a bit of dialogue and rethink life a bit.
It's a record of the beginning of my life journey, because in my case I come from a very multicultural, diverse background, and I spent a great part of my life. Well, I didn't think too much about it all this time because I was in it. It's like you don't see the forest for the trees, so to speak. But I was always treated like people couldn't figure out where I come from, or they would give up and say something like a woman of indeterminate origin. That was quite, yes, it was very common for me. So I went through years and years of this kind of thing, and I just thought it's the norm for me anyway. And when people asked me where are you from, because it was so complicated, I gave up explaining, and I would say I'm from planet Earth, and and that was it. So as a result of this show, I started to actually have to look into it and really think about it. And as I took the photographs of my parents and my childhood, things started to open up and reveal. And I suddenly realized that there was a link. Shows you how dumb I am, but the link between those things and how I was brought up and my ancestry to how I made decisions and how I lived my life and certain things I did. And of course it comes from that. I just never thought about it, and I never had to actually look at it until now. So in a way, the theme of this show helped me to kind of, look into that, investigate it, feel it, and then make the work. So it's just the beginning. It's sort of, I hate to use the word tip of the iceberg because it's not iceberg. But I think, to put it in a short sentence, here is the beginning of my journey, and I am, not the final destination, but I'm the
continuing saga.
Yeah, I'm the continuing story, but the fact is, it's the juxtaposition of both me and this. Because most of the things I have in here were when I was about 3 years old, 4 years old, that type of age range. So I just thought it was very fitting, a kind of tribute to my ancestry.
And where's your ancestry from?
Yes, I was born and raised in Japan. My father is African American with some Creole, actually. I didn't throw that in the info. Creole Indian. My mother was Austrian Chinese, but I was born and raised in Tokyo because they were working there and they fell in love with Japan, and I ended up spending pretty much most of my life there.
So you are a lady of the planet Earth, with all these different ancestries.
Yeah, it's very difficult to explain, you see, so that's why I kind of avoided it. But yes, actually, it's helped me a lot, to be honest. I think I can say that now. At the time, I didn't think so. For example, when I was about 12 years old, it was popular to have the Miss Universe shows. And you would always have Miss India, Miss this, Miss that. And I used to burst into tears because I couldn't imagine what they would put on my sash. It was so nebulous, But now I realize that's not a detriment. I mean, at least I don't take it that way anymore. It's not a detriment. It's a benefit. Especially now that I am, doing art, it's even more a benefit. Plus, I can now appreciate the fact that both my parents were artists. I mean, they did show business and music and things like that, but it's the same sort of lineage. So I almost feel like I carry all my ancestral relatives on my back, and it's sort of like I am part of a long line, and that's the first time I feel that, and I'm grateful for Jude for thinking up this theme for this show and putting us together, because it helped me discover that. I never would have thought about it had it not been forced to dig into the trunks, So yeah.
I started thinking about how to approach the idea about love, family story, And one thing that came to my mind was that people with exhibitions, people are always kind of sluggish about it. They like to come, but they almost need a reason to go to one. So exhibitions are usually sort of cold places, to be honest, except for the people who are really into art. So for this one, we wanted to make it to be like more of a family thing. Of course, artists do come, but wanted to expand the audience. So I thought, what could I do to help this situation? That's when I thought about making art that I was going to give away. So I decided to make 12 pieces of work that I do intend to give away for free. And I made it under the banner of melancholia and pigeons. Somehow, I don't know what drives me towards pigeons, but I kind of, maybe it's the name.
Mm-hmm.
So I started working on it. I did the 12 works and decided, okay, I'm going to do kind of raffle. So I'm going to put some numbers, and if it matches what's on the painting itself, the drawings, you can take it home. And I kind of felt it was one of the ways I could help to, again, bring in the community, expand the visual interest of people about these things. Then I have some works that are from 2015 that are more like memory banks, where I kind of, when I think about where I come from, being Nigerian, African for that matter, that there are certain things you never get away from, which is aspects of your culture. But your culture doesn't define you, but it's part of who you are. And some of these works are here. There are 3 images that are like color works. They're like more of, again, they are reflections of my inner self, how I think about the world. The images more or less are usually muted colors. I don't use too many colors because I can't really manage colors, so I cannot limit them. I try to kind of look for things that are in shades so that I can kind of live with them. I like to have peace with things. That's what informs this works. Again, love, family, and stories are part of who we are.
This is my first graphic novel, Love on the Isle of Dogs. It's about my marriage 25 years ago to a man who was diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic, and it was a terribly difficult time, but also it had moments of love and light and happiness in it. It was quite a small stretch of time, but it was really hectic, all the changes that happened, and at the end I had to leave. It's documented in pictures and words in the books, the story, but I think my life hasn't gone so badly afterwards. It's been quite good, and it does show you that you can go through a very difficult time and things don't necessarily have to end badly, even though they're very hard at the time.
Do you feel doing this helped you go through this as memories? Because obviously this happened a long time ago, so it's kind of like an art therapy?
I don't think it was such a therapy, although it does relate to that, because it was a long time ago, so I wasn't still troubled by it at all, because my life had gone very well since, and we all have difficult things in our lives, and we live on afterwards. So it wasn't a therapy, but it was very interesting for me. It was an interesting stage in my personal development to look back at it and see it again. What it was it was easier to see it from the distance, and also I think for the other people involved, well, and particularly for my husband, who is my former husband. It was okay, I felt, for me to talk about this now, because nobody would be hurt by any intimate stories being in public now.
So this is black and white pen and ink?
Yes, it is. I have got a little bit of colour, but it's mostly pen and ink, drawn at home. Very spontaneous drawings. What I would do is I would think of a memory, and then I would draw that memory. And that's how I worked through most of it. And the narration of the story came out of those memories, those memory drawings.
And the book will be called Love on the Isle of Dogs?
That's right, Love on the Isle of Dogs. Because it is a love story, to be honest. That's basically what it is. And I still feel very affectionate. If I hadn't have been married to my husband and hadn't had our baby, then I wouldn't have my lovely daughter and wouldn't have had half the wonderful things that have happened to me since. It's been also, as well as being the most difficult time of my life, it's also had magic come from it.